4 words. Just 4 words. And yet, they stop people cold. They make confident adults go completely blank. They make people forget everything they know about themselves. They make English learners freeze in the middle of a job interview, a meeting, a first conversation with someone new.
4 words that sound so simple, so harmless, so easy.
Tell me about yourself.
And suddenly, silence. A long pause. A nervous laugh. And the first words that come out are, well, I am, how do I say this?
Sound familiar? Because it should. Because this is one of the most common English-speaking problems in the entire world. Not grammar, not vocabulary, not pronunciation. Just this: not knowing how to introduce yourself clearly, confidently, and naturally in English.
And that ends today. Welcome to Key to Learn English, the podcast that takes you from I don't know what to say to I know exactly who I am, and I know how to say it beautifully in English. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ryan. And today's episode is one of the most practical, most useful, most immediately applicable episodes we have ever made. Because by the time this episode is finished, you will have a clear framework, real example sentences, and the confidence to answer this question in any situation. Job interview, new class, business meeting, social event, anywhere.
And this is a B1 intermediate level episode, so the English is real, natural, and the kind you actually need. Not textbook sentences, not robot language. Real expressions that real people use when they introduce themselves in English, with confidence and personality.
And as always, stay with us until the end for our word tour. 8 powerful expressions from today's episode. You will want every single one.
But first, if Key to Learn English is helping you speak more confidently, please like this episode right now, subscribe to the channel, and share it with one person who has a job interview, a presentation, or an important English conversation coming up. You might be giving them the exact thing they need today.
Okay, let's get into it. Because the question is simple. The answer, when you know how to build it, is also simple. And learning it will change how people see you every time you open your mouth in English.
Let's start with the real problem. Why does such a simple question cause so much panic? Because I think most people blame their English. They say, "Oh, I froze because my English isn't good enough." But actually, I don't think that's the main reason.
You are so right. And I've thought about this a lot. The real reason people freeze is not the English. It is that nobody taught them how to answer this question. In school, you learn grammar, you learn vocabulary, you learn how to describe the weather and order food in a restaurant. But nobody ever sat you down and said, "Here is how you talk about yourself. Here is the structure. Here is what to include and what to leave out."
Exactly. And so when someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," most people try to answer it from scratch, in real time, under pressure, in their second language, while also managing nerves and trying to make a good impression. That is a lot. That is actually an enormous cognitive load. And no wonder it goes wrong.
And there is a second problem. When people don't have a structure, they either say too little, just their name and job title and then nothing, or they say too much. They start from childhood. They talk about their whole career. They explain every job they've ever had. And the other person is standing there thinking, when does this end?
The complete autobiography answer. I once heard someone answer, "Tell me about yourself," at a job interview by starting with, "Well, I was born in a small village." Bless them. They were nervous. But the interviewer definitely did not need that level of detail.
And that's not a failure of English. That is a failure of structure. And structure, unlike talent, unlike accent, unlike years of practice, structure can be learned in one podcast episode, which is exactly what we are going to do right now.
So here is the key idea of this entire section. Tell me about yourself is not a request for your whole life story. It is an invitation to present the most relevant, most interesting, most confident version of yourself in about 60 to 90 seconds. Clear, organized, memorable.
60 to 90 seconds. That is all. And when you have the right structure, 60 seconds is more than enough to make a powerful, lasting impression. So let's build that structure together. Okay, here is the framework. It is simple, it is powerful, and it works in almost every situation. Job interviews, university applications, business introductions, networking events, new classes. Ready?
Ready.
3 parts. Part 1. Your past, where you come from and what shaped you. Part 2. Your present, what you do now and what you are good at. Part 3. Your future, where you are going and why you are here today. Past, present, future. That's it.
And the beauty of this structure is that it tells a story, not a random list of facts, but a story with a beginning, a middle, and a direction. And stories are memorable. Facts are forgettable. Stories stick.
Let's go through each part one by one. Part 1. Your past. This is a short 1 or 2 sentence summary of your background. Where did you study? What did you study? What kind of work or experience do you have? What experience shaped you into who you are professionally? You don't need to go back to childhood, just the relevant beginning of your story.
For example, someone might say, I studied business administration at university and graduated 3 years ago. Or, I started my career in customer service, which taught me everything I know about communication and problem solving. 1 or 2 sentences, clear and direct.
Part 2. Your present. This is the heart of your answer. What do you do right now? What are you working on? What are you good at? What makes you valuable? This part should be the most detailed, 2 to 3 sentences maximum, and it should make the listener understand exactly who you are professionally right now.
For example, right now I work as a marketing coordinator for a technology company. I manage our social media channels and help create content for our international clients. I especially enjoy the creative side of my work, finding the right words and visuals to connect with people in different countries.
Notice something in that example. It doesn't just say what she does. It says what she enjoys and what she's good at. That personal touch is important. It makes you a person, not just a job title. It gives the listener something to connect with and something to ask you about later.
Which is exactly what you want in an interview or a networking situation. You want to open doors for conversation, not close them with a list of dry facts.
And part 3, your future. This is your closing statement. Where are you going? What are you looking for? Why are you here, in this interview, in this room, in this conversation? This part connects your past and present to this specific moment and this specific opportunity.
For example, I'm currently looking for opportunities to grow in an international environment, which is why I'm very excited about this position. I believe my experience in content creation and my passion for cross-cultural communication make me a strong fit for this team.
And just like that, past, present, future, you have a complete, confident 60-second answer that tells a story, highlights your strengths, and shows exactly why you are the right person for this moment. Let's put it all together in one complete example and really hear how it flows.
Yes, let's do a full example. Imagine you are in a job interview for an English-speaking company. The interviewer looks at you and says, "So, tell me about yourself." And you say,
I studied English literature and communications at university, where I developed a strong interest in language and how it connects people across cultures. For the past 2 years, I have been working as a content writer for a digital marketing agency, where I write articles, social media posts, and email campaigns for clients in Europe and Asia. I'm especially proud of a project where I helped a small business grow its online audience by 40% in 6 months. I'm now looking for a role where I can take on more responsibility and work with a more international team, which is exactly what attracted me to this company and this position.
"Wow, Ryan, that was so good." Did you hear that? It was clear, it was confident, it had a story, it had a specific achievement, it had a reason for being in the room, and it took about 60 seconds. That is the power of structure.
Thank you. I've been practicing. But honestly, what I just said was not difficult vocabulary. It was not complicated grammar. It was a simple structure, filled with real information, delivered with confidence. And that is 100% something you can do too.
Okay, important point. Tell me about yourself doesn't only happen in formal situations. It happens all the time. At a party, at a community event, in a new English class, when you meet someone on a trip, when you start a new job and meet your colleagues for the first time.
And in social situations, the structure is a little different. It's lighter, it's more relaxed, it's more personal. You don't lead with professional achievements at a dinner party. That would be a little intense.
Imagine someone asks, "What do you do?" and you pull out a performance review. No, thank you. In social situations, you want to be warm, interesting, and open. You want to make the other person feel comfortable and curious to know more about you.
So in a social situation, a great answer to "tell me about yourself" might sound more like this. I'm originally from Turkey, but I've been living in London for about 2 years now. I work in IT, but honestly, my real passion is photography. I spend most of my weekends exploring the city with my camera. I'm also trying to improve my English, which is why I joined this group. It's going really well so far, I think.
And notice the difference. It has personal information, where you're from, where you live now. It has professional context, I work in IT, but it doesn't dwell there. And then it has a passion, something personal and interesting that invites a response. Someone will almost certainly say, "Oh, photography. What kind of things do you like to photograph?" And suddenly, you have a real conversation.
And ending with something self-aware and a little humble. I'm trying to improve my English. It's going well, I think. Is actually very smart. It shows confidence without arrogance. It shows that you are a person who is growing and learning. And people connect with that.
So here is the social version of our structure. Part 1, where you come from and where you are now. Part 2, what you do briefly. Part 3, one personal passion or interest that opens a door for conversation. That's it. Short, warm, memorable, human.
And for English learners specifically, mentioning that you are learning English is never something to be embarrassed about. It is something to be proud of. It takes courage to learn a language. It takes commitment. And most native English speakers, when they hear you are learning their language, are genuinely impressed, not critical.
They are. In my experience, people respect language learners enormously. So mention it, own it, be proud of it, because it is one of the most impressive things about you.
Okay, let's talk about the mistakes, because I think knowing what not to do is just as useful as knowing what to do. And these are mistakes I hear very often, not because people are bad at English, but because nobody told them differently.
Mistake number 1, starting with sorry. And this is so common. Someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," and the first word is, "Sorry, my English is not very good," or, "Sorry, I'm a little nervous." I completely understand why people say this. It feels protective, like you're warning the other person before they can judge you. But actually, it does the opposite. It immediately draws attention to weakness. It sets a low tone before you've even begun.
Instead, start with confidence. Even if you are nervous inside, the listener doesn't need to know that. Take one breath, sit up straight, and begin with your name and something strong. Your nerves will reduce once you start speaking. They almost always do.
Mistake number 2, listing facts without personality. Name, job, city, done. This technically answers the question, but it gives the other person almost nothing to work with. It's like handing someone a business card and then standing there in silence.
A walking business card. I've met a few of those. The fix is to add one small, personal detail. Something that shows who you are as a person, not just as a professional. What do you enjoy? What are you working on right now that excites you? What is something surprising about you that people wouldn't expect?
Mistake number 3, speaking too fast because of nerves. When people are anxious, they rush. They want to finish the scary thing as quickly as possible. So they speak faster and faster. The sentences run together. And by the end, nobody understood a word.
Slow down. Deliberately. Especially on the first sentence. A slow, clear opening makes you seem confident, even if you don't feel it. And it gives your brain time to warm up and find the words. Speed is not confidence. Clarity is confidence.
Mistake number 4, trying to be too perfect. Some people prepare an introduction, memorize it word for word, and then freeze if they forget one phrase, because they feel like the whole thing is ruined. But an introduction is not a performance. It is a conversation starter. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present and clear.
Learn the structure. Practice the ideas. But let the exact words come naturally in the moment. That way, even if you lose your place or change a sentence, the answer still works, because the structure carries you, not the memorized script.
And mistake number 5, ending with nothing. A lot of people trail off at the end of their introduction. Their voice drops. They look down. They say, "And yes, that's me, I think." And it creates an awkward silence.
End strong. Always. The last sentence of your introduction should be confident and forward-looking, pointing toward this conversation, this opportunity, this moment. Something like, "I'm really glad to be here today, and I'm looking forward to this conversation." Or, "I'm very excited about this opportunity, and I hope we can explore it together." A strong ending leaves the other person with a positive, lasting impression.
Word tour time. 8 essential expressions from today, all directly useful for introducing yourself in English. Let's go.
Expression number 1. Introduce yourself. To introduce yourself means to tell someone your name and key information about who you are, usually when you meet them for the first time. For example, at the start of the meeting, everyone was asked to introduce themselves and say one interesting fact about their background.
Number 2, make a good impression. To make a good impression means to cause someone to think positively about you, especially during a first meeting or important conversation. For example, she prepared carefully for her interview because she really wanted to make a good impression on the hiring manager.
Number 3. Highlight your strengths. To highlight your strengths means to draw attention to the things you are best at, your skills, abilities, and qualities, especially in a professional or formal context. For example, when answering, "Tell me about yourself," It is important to highlight your strengths without sounding arrogant.
Number 4, come across as. To come across as means to give a particular impression to other people, to seem a certain way to them, whether you intend it or not. For example, she practiced her introduction several times so that she would come across as confident and prepared, not nervous and uncertain.
Number 5, keep it brief. To keep it brief means to say what you need to say without going into too much detail, to be short and clear, especially when the other person's time or attention is limited. For example, the interviewer asked him to keep it brief, so he focused on his 3 most relevant experiences and nothing else.
Number 6, be specific. To be specific means to give precise, clear, detailed information instead of speaking in vague, general terms. For example, instead of just saying, "I have good communication skills," she was specific. She gave an example of a project where her communication skills directly led to a successful result.
Number 7, relevant experience. Relevant experience means work, study, or life experience that is directly connected and useful to the situation you are in, the job, the opportunity, or the conversation at hand. For example, although he had worked in many different fields, he focused only on his relevant experience during the interview, the 2 roles that were most connected to the position.
And number 8, personal brand. Your personal brand is the image, reputation, and impression that you create in the minds of the people you meet. The combination of your skills, your personality, your values, and the way you present yourself. For example, your answer to tell me about yourself is one of the most powerful opportunities you have to build your personal brand and show people exactly who you are.
Let's say them all. Introduce yourself. Make a good impression. Highlight your strengths. Come across as. Keep it brief. Be specific. Relevant experience. Personal brand. Learn them. Own them. Use them. They are yours now.
We want to give you something extra today. 3 complete, ready-to-use example answers for 3 different situations. Listen carefully. You can model your own introduction on these.
Example 1. A job interview for an office position. Listen to the structure. Past, present, future.
I studied accounting at university and graduated 4 years ago. Since then, I have been working at a mid-sized company in the finance department, where I handle monthly reports and support the senior team with data analysis. I am known in my team for being detail-oriented and reliable. My manager often says I'm the person who catches the mistakes before they become problems. I'm now looking for a new challenge in a larger, more international company, and when I saw this position, I felt it was exactly the kind of step forward I've been working toward.
Beautiful. Clear, professional, personal touch, strong ending. Example 2. A social situation. Meeting new people at an English language exchange event. Hi, I'm Ryan, originally from Poland but living here in Manchester for the past 18 months. During the week I work in logistics, which is very organized and very serious. But on weekends I become a completely different person. I love hiking, cooking new recipes, and I recently started learning guitar, which is going, let's say it's a work in progress. I came to this event because I really want to improve my spoken English and meet people from different places. I'm really happy to be here.
I love that answer. It is warm, funny, honest, and incredibly relatable. And it gives people at least 3 things to ask about: hiking, cooking, or the guitar. Example 3. Introducing yourself in an online meeting or video call with international colleagues. Good morning, everyone. It's great to meet you all. My name is Sarah, and I'm joining from our regional office in Dubai. I've been with the company for about 2 years, working primarily on client communications and partnership development for the Middle East region. Before that, I spent 3 years in customer experience, which gave me a strong foundation in understanding what clients actually need, not just what they say they need. I'm very much looking forward to working with this team and contributing to our shared goals this year.
Professional, warm, competent, collaborative. 3 very different situations, and in each one, the structure does the work. Past, present, future. Adjusted for context, delivered with personality. Comment challenge. And this one is hands-on. We want you to actually do the thing.
Go to the comments right now and write your own "Tell me about yourself" answer. Use the past, present, future structure. 2 to 4 sentences. Real information about you. In English.
Don't overthink it. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just write it. A rough first version is 100 times more useful than a perfect version that stays in your head.
And when you write it in the comments, you will get feedback from other learners. You will see how other people introduce themselves. You will feel the community around you. And you will have taken one real, brave step toward being able to answer this question confidently in the real world.
We will be reading your answers, and if your introduction is especially good, we might even mention it in a future episode. So go write it, right now. You are ready.
Tell me about yourself. 4 words that used to feel like a test, like a trap, like something to be afraid of. But now you have a structure, you have examples, you have the vocabulary, and you have the understanding that this question is not a trap at all.
It is an invitation to show someone who you are, to open a door, to begin a conversation that could change your career, your relationships, your opportunities. And you now know exactly how to walk through that door with your head held high.
Practice your answer tonight. Say it out loud, not just in your head. To your mirror, to your phone camera, to your cat, whoever is available. Because speaking it out loud is completely different from reading it silently, and your brain needs the physical practice.
And remember, your introduction will get better every time you use it. The first time might be a little rough. The 10th time will feel natural. The 50th time will feel like breathing. This is how language works. This is how confidence is built. One conversation at a time.
Subscribe to Key to Learn English for more episodes exactly like this one. Every episode is designed to give you real English for real life. The kind of English that opens doors and changes futures.
This has been Ryan.
And this has been Sarah. Go practice your introduction. The world is waiting to hear about you.
Bye for now. And remember, there is no one else in the world with your exact story. That story deserves to be told well. In English.